Innocent Orji-led Biafra Armed Group, Biafran Provincial Government, BPG has called on residents in southeast states to avoid night travel, and also warned secret cult members against cultism-related activities in the southeast geopolitical zone, with additional warnings to its armed men against Anambra State Governor, Chukwuma Soludo Amnesty program, cautioning its members to always use precision weapons and avoid killing civilians when in contact with Nigeria's security operatives. Innocent Orji stated this in a press statement issued on New Year Day. Few days after yet to be identified armed group invaded Ihiola local government area, killing over 9 persons, both security operatives and civilians, with more persons, mostly vigilante members, killed at Oba community in the Idemili South local government area of the state. No group has claimed responsibility for the December 30, 2024 killings in Ihiola and Oba community, but Innocent Orji in the New Year message warned against cultism, kidnappers and political thugs who are acting as unknown gunmen to cause mayhem in the southeast states. The violent activities by known state actors in Anambra State forced the state governor, Soludo, to declare a major state of emergency in the state on New Year Day, with 10 million naira's bounty placed on each head of any member of the killer squad killing security operatives and civilians in the state. Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetukun, on Friday warned Biafra Armed Group, among others, that the force will no longer tolerate any act of assault and killing of its personnel. IGP, while speaking at the Enugu State Command of the Nigeria Police Force during his 2 days official visit ahead of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit to the state, ordered policemen to collectively respond appropriately to deal with anyone or group that assault or kill police officer. The Biafran Provincial Government, in a press statement issued earlier by its members in Awka, the Anambra State capital, stated in quote thus: "In the final report after remote monitoring and information gathering, the Provincial Administrator of Awka Province, Colonel Okunwa Okafor, reiterates the conspiracy to instigate violence by agents of the occupying government of Nigeria, which notably amongst others includes defunct Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo and his political associates. It has been uncovered by our intel that recent call for amnesty by the defunct Anambra State Governor is to protect his cousins who were apprehended for cultism and political thuggery, leading to the violence escalating in Awka and its environs. The agenda as set for the proposed amnesty is the recruitment of the recipients as security agents in affiliation with the occupying forces to hunt and eliminate pro-Biafra activists and sympathizers. To cover up his complicity and that of his political associates in the escalation of violence in defunct Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo is blaming the pro-Biafra group, IPOB, while offering a deadline of February 2025 for acceptance of amnesty. Meanwhile, the illegal rendition and long-term arbitrary detention of IPOB leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as conspired by cohorts of the occupying government of Nigeria, including Professor Chukwuma Soludo, in order to remain politically relevant in the former eastern region of Nigeria, failed woefully, as indigenous Biafrans are more determined to exercise their inalienable rights to self-determination, national sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity as accorded by indigenous, regional and international laws, resolutions, instruments, procedures and decisions. Also exposed by our intel is that the overall acceptance of amnesty by the pro-Biafra group, IPOB, is now set as a prerequisite for the release of the IPOB leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, from detention of the occupying government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a prisoner of conscience and has not committed any crime. The spurious charges instituted against him is without evidence and cannot be proven in any court of legal jurisdiction. The Biafran Provincial Government (BPG), Government of the State of Biafra, hereby notifies Professor Chukwuma Soludo that his threats to indigenous Biafrans in defunct Anambra State to forcefully remove us from our lands and also restricting us from practicing our customs and traditions is totally in contravention of the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and international human rights law, which includes the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, UNDRIP. The massacres of defenseless indigenous Biafrans by the occupying terrorist forces of Nigeria in Opoko, 2006 Ezo River, 2008 Oka, 2015 Onitsha Held Bridge, 2015 Tazan, 2015 Mpo, 2016, including the ground assault and aerial bombardment still ongoing in several communities in the defunct Anambra State, have proven the urge for self-political interest instead of the well-being, growth and development of indigents and their homelands. Colonel Okunwa Okafor called on the Biafran military troops deployed to the defunct Anambra State to be properly guided by the military mandate, principles and rules of engagement as established by the Biafran National Guard (BNG), which is capable of overwhelming the enemy forces, protecting peace and the guarantee of stability and development in territories of the state of Biafra. In conclusion, he drew attention to the necessity of perseverance by the civilian populace to be able to navigate our right to self-defense as a shared responsibility to safeguard our lives and protect our fundamental human rights, said Chinedu Ama, who identified self as captain in charge of media and communications of Awka Province, Biafran Provincial Government. The head of the armed group, Innocent Orji, in a New Year message, said, "The Biafran Provincial Government (BPG) government of the state of Biafra heartily welcomes indigents, citizens and friends of the sovereign state of Biafra into the year 2025, which is our year of fulfillment. The year 2025 is geared towards the fulfillment of our inalienable rights to self-determination, national sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity in the 31 provinces including the national provincial capital, Letu Eda of the state of Biafra. The government of the state of Biafra appreciates the patriotism of the indigents and citizens in ensuring the workability of our administration and self-defense in recovered territories of the state of Biafra. The indigents and citizens of the state of Biafra must continue to ensure that criminal elements do not operate in their communities under the disguise of unknown gunmen. Those who engage in kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism, political thuggery and other vices within the occupied territories of the state of Biafra are hereby warned to cease such heinous acts that brings forth anarchy to indigenous Biafrans. The peoples of Biafra domiciled in the conflict-affected zones in Biafran territories are advised to avoid any engagement or travel during night time for safety and security reasons. It is important that indigenous Biafran youths reject every incentive for amnesty program from agents of the occupying government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Anyone who accepts the amnesty is accepting that she is a criminal and wishes to be pardoned by the agents of the occupying terrorist forces and government of Nigeria. The human rights and fundamental freedom of the peoples and government of the state of Biafra is legal, existing and sacrosanct. The release of IPOB leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is imminent and should not be used as a bait to deceive the people of Biafra by agents of the occupying terrorist forces and government of Nigeria. It is essential for indigenous Biafrans to pledge into the military-civil converge as administrated by the Biafran Supreme Military Council of Administration (BSMCA), which is a comprehensive approach to security within the scope of military, socio-political, economic, environmental and human dimensions. We should strengthen commitments to the Biafran military-civil converge to enable us live safer and build a more prosperous future for the state of Biafra as redeclared, proclaimed, restored, re-established, and the Biafran national flag of independence hoisted at the Defense Headquarters, 2nd Division, Nsukka Province on the 30th of October 2021. The Biafran Provincial Government (BPG), government of the state of Biafra, shall continue to be critical and practical on poverty, food security, education, global development, peace and prospects of building strong institutions. I, General Innocent Orji, GCSB, reiterates the need for brotherliness amongst the civilian and military populace to ensure the elimination of rogue and non-state groups in territories of the state of Biafra. Every Biafran military troops deployed for documents should minimize the risk to civilians, prioritize aerial and ground surveillance and also make use of precision weaponry. The Biafran Provincial Government (BPG) inaugurated as the bona fide administrative power in Bende Province on the 30th of October 2023 after extensive consultations, interactions and mutual agreement by the Biafran Supreme Military Council of Administration (BSMCA) with indigenous community representatives, elders, youths, age-grade and women, is diligently working towards the fulfillment of the discussion, formal recognition and full participation of the State of Biafra as the 194th member state of the United Nations and 56th nation in the African continent. A wonderful and cheerful New Year 2025 to every indigenous Biafrans and lovers of freedom across the globe, said Innocent Orji, who identified self as head of state, Biafran Provincial Government, BPG and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the State of Biafra, National Provincial Capital, Letu Eda.
Osasua Connected, bringing you the news in a more digital way.